Good morning. Thank you for having me. From my perspective, I was watching it this morning, and I have to say that it doesn't surprise me that she didn't take any responsibility for her actions or participation. It said something to me that her biggest regret was meeting him and not being involved in the ring itself, not being involved in hurting other people. And I understand, everybody's saying, she's going through an appeal, but there appears to be nothing behind her eyes as far as having some sort of empathy towards the people who were hurt, more of litigating something that she wasn't litigating before, that photo that was taken of Prince Andrew's and how it seems to be photoshopped or not real. That's her concern.
Yeah.
That's her concern. She has no problem talking about how her life is and what she misses and things of that nature. But I personally don't care what she misses.
No.
She hurt other people, and the life that she's living should actually be worse. I thought it was very telling that she was moved to a softer location within our states.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she contributed to something heinous for many, many years with someone who's equally as heinous.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care, as you say, whether her tofu is a bit tasteless because they don't give her any salt
Right.
to put on it. To me, tofu is pretty tasteless no matter what you do with it, so I wouldn't be eating it to begin with. But at the end of the day, the Black Book is going to be something, surely, at some point, that somebody gains access to. I don't know where it is. I don't know whether you've read anything about where it might be. But, there are supposedly presidents in there, maybe governing officials from all sorts of countries around the world, top business leaders. We've seen pictures of Bill Gates. We've seen pictures of people like Bono. We've seen pictures of Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. The list is endless. But, and yet nobody ever writes about them and what they were doing there.
Right. And it's a sad thing for me to say this, but I've kind of come to the conclusion that the very powerful people within our society in the Western world, especially, it's rare that they ever get any sort of punishment for their actions. And I've just kind of come to that conclusion when it comes to this. She is, I don't want to say she's a scapegoat. She's obviously done something horrible. Jeffrey Epstein has obviously done something horrible. But the people who funded it, the people who are participating in it, right, the Johns, as we call it here, they'll never be brought to justice. I've just kind of come to that conclusion because they're way too powerful, way too influential. You can't give me any other explanation as to why Bill Clinton went to that island so many times and had no idea what was going on.
Right.
I'm a grown man. I'm 38 years old. Why would I hang out with 17-year-olds?
Right.
Does that seem...
It doesn't seem
something
normal.
Is off.
Exactly.
No.
And I mean, I watched, as I don't know whether you did, the Netflix documentary about Epstein, which was fascinating in and of itself because you could see, if you walked around that property that he had, I think it was in Florida, which was sort of festooned with what might be called loosely erotic art, naked statues, naked pictures of young women. You wouldn't have to be, Columbo to work out what was happening. You knew that there was something probably not very good and possibly very seedy going on. And you also knew from Jeffrey Epstein's reputation what kind of guy he was.
Right. I mean, let me tell you, if I walk into someone's house and they have nude images all over their home, I don't care if it's in fancy paintings or not.
Right.
I would think something is up here. Why are you
it's a bit weird.
This?
Yeah.
It's very weird. You come in here, I have, a cat painting. I don't have anything highly sexualized and suspicious here. But I do want to say one more thing as far as Ghislaine. I find it very interesting that everything always comes back to Jeffrey. Everything is Jeffrey's fault. And she's painting a picture that she was coerced. Right. I was just living my life. I should have never met this guy.
Right.
That he just pulled her in with his, with his money, his charm, his influence. She is responsible. She's a grown woman. She is responsible for her actions. And I really get tired of people who do not accept accountability. I understand, once again, she's going through an appeal, but don't paint yourself as a victim towards with Jeffrey Epstein. You were his right hand.
Yeah.
You were his best friend, as they put it.
And she also got his kind of, shall we say, his business connected to various people that she brought to the party. So she knew the likes of Prince Andrew. It wasn't Epstein that knew Prince Andrew, it was her. And so, the connections were made to a large extent, certainly outside of the US, through her, not through him, because she was seen as this kind of rather high-flying socialite who knew everyone.
Right. She knew everyone. You know, she like you mentioned, she knew the Clintons. And the funniest, actually, if there's a funny point as to what she said, you know, there's some goodness in me because of my involvement in the Clinton Foundation. And I about fell off my couch when she said that. You know, because the people in Haiti feel very differently about that.
Well, exactly right. And did she not also try and get the use of Clinton's name to sort of help her in the sentencing procedures as well? But he obviously had to decline that. But I think she was hoping that he would write her some kind of letter of recommendation or something.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. No, her name was way too public. Jeff's name was way too public out there. Everybody who's powerful is going to back away, disassociate, claim they never knew anything. I had no idea. You know, yes, I went to all these dinner parties with them, and there were 17, 16-year-old girls walking around, and they looked suspiciously young.
Yeah.
But no, I have no idea what was going on. Had no clue.
Yeah.
Nobody believes that. No one wants their name attached to this.
And as far as the actual prosecution is concerned, she supposedly is appealing, as you said. There's no other prosecutions coming, as far as we know, from the whole shebang, is there?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
No. It's interesting. Well, listen, great to talk to you, Adam. As a